that. We don't want that going forward. All right. I mean, and if it's there, then it's there. We can't just ignore it. We can't just ignore it. We can't just sugarcoat it, sugarcoat it, and not address it. There's obviously an issue. You know, I mean, we can put that issue aside and move forward in the best way. And if Doha can't be an administrator, and there's an issue with that because there's this side being represented and that side being represented, then we can have two co-administrators that can co-administrate together without any additional nonsense and drama. That's all. I don't know if it makes any sense, but I mean,
Tristan, this is Jason Levico. I think it makes a lot of sense what you say, um, and I think what Leo said earlier is really what's critical right now is that this is really a decision for the family, and it sounds like Isa's father's side of the family, although everybody's on his father's side, but you know what I mean, is in agreement that they would like Duhan to represent them. And they have concerns about Fatah. Now, the concerns about Fatah, I just want to clear up. I didn't hear anyone say anything about trust. It was not about trust. It was more about communication and concerns.
Overall trust. Communication is a trust issue. I don't want to get into the semantics, but
of course.
If somebody can't communicate effectively, I'm not going to trust that person.
Of course.
Sorry.
But I think you're very smart to say that. And so I think if maybe you and Isa's mother's side of the family, the other brothers and sisters, agreed that you would act as co-administrator, maybe that would solve the problem. I don't know, but I think that's where we are right now, where Tristan, you and Abdul Fattah and Isa's mother's side of the family should maybe discuss who you'd like to go forward with. We'd like to move this forward quickly. I think you're absolutely right that this is not something we should be spending our time with, and we should move forward.
Tristan,
thank you for that.
and Tristan, I just want to say, look, all I can tell you is I don't know about your personal conversations with Mr. Fattah. All I can tell you is that every time I meet Mr. Fattah, he's available to me. He calls me back immediately. He signed the paperwork that we initially signed. He just came to my office and from Virginia, and we got that done. And so there has been an easy and efficient administration before the estate is set up. But it's been easy. Now I don't know how available you can be for that kind of stuff, but often you need original signatures, and so that's I'm not. Look, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but all I can tell you is that Mr. Fattah, to this point, has been an able and efficient administrator of this case that we're trying to bring. And if that's, and so that's all I can tell you. And so if we want to do, if we want to do this in a way that's, I think, efficient, but also do this with some speed, I think that's the way to go. If we don't do it that way, there could be a litigation in probate court and nothing happens in the case. And finally, I just would say, I'm not trying to, Ibrahim, I'm not trying to sell you on speed. I'm not saying you're right, it has to be done, deliberately and thoroughly. Having said that, I would also just tell you that there's actually a change of administration coming up in New York City, and there will be changes in the representation of the city in these types of matters, and for Jason and I to get something going and get in there early, it kind of almost gives us two bites of the apple to see if we could really get something, a decent settlement that everyone would be happy with from the city. Because there's going to be turnover, there's going to be a lot of changes, and this is also a high-profile sometimes that can be advantageous to the plaintiff's side.
Right. Yeah,
That's all
I
I'll
hear
say.
what you're
And Tristan and Ibrahim and Mr. Fatah, I don't, I can't speak to what happens behind the scenes. That's all.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying 100%, and my whole thing is that smooth is fast, right? And the trick is to be what really fast and accurate at the same time. So I got you. I'm always accessible. You can email me, text me, Facebook, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm always accessible 24/7. You can always get in touch with me when you need to. So you don't have to worry about that. As far as me talking to my mother's side or either side of the family, mother's side of the family, I will talk to my grandmother and talk to Fatah offline and go from there. Um, but I will have an answer. I'm actually going to be in New York in the next couple of days. Here probably November 1st or 2nd to see my grandmother. So I can definitely have an answer to uh, to Leo, Mr. Glickman. I can have an answer to you as far the whole co-administrator as far as me being the co-administrator is concerned with Doha. I should be able to have that within the next 24, 48 hours, um, if not sooner.
Yeah, I mean, Tristan, that's not something, that's not a conversation you have with me. That will be a conversation you have with your grandmother and Mr. Fatah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying. I will talk to them and get back with you within that amount of time. Something I need to talk to them about. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm saying if that's what needs to happen to get this thing going forward, that's what needs to happen. That's all I'm saying. If Ibrahim and Doha are okay with me being co-administrators with Doha, then let's get going and make this thing happen so that we can move forward and get this whole thing behind us. That's all I'm saying.
I have no objection to that. Doha, do you have an objection to that scenario?
I didn't know Doha was here. Sorry. All right. Swear I'm Doha.
Assalamualaikum, Tristan. No objection.
Okay, so I mean, at least to the people to the members of the parties on the call, that seems to be at least an option that where most of us are in agreement to. So I think that kind of loops me back to the question that I had for Abdul Fattah in the first place: is what seems to be what's holding you?
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All praises are due to Allah. I'm going to answer this finally. And then the good news is I'm still on the call, so I still was able to remain here. As far as everything that has been discussed, I think has been very clearly communicated. And I would still go with the initial propositions of the attorneys, and they have represented it. So most people on the call would be those whom have come to one consensus, and at this time we're going back and forth. He did mention also, and I'm glad he did bring up both of them, the attorney as well as Tristan Falak Muhammad, that it would be a discussion on his mother's side of the family. So we still have two members, at least three, on his mother's side of the family. That includes his cousin Henry. So, they had a proposition. It was supposed to last 15-minute call. Here it is, 45 minutes into it. And the strange thing about it, unfortunately, is the fact that the attorneys have been presenting their case very well. And the rebuttals have really just, from the initial proposition, has just really becoming of a member of the one who clicked in late, and unfortunately, one who was before that. So neither of them actually signed any papers for the attorneys. The ones who have signed their papers for the attorneys, as my attorney mentioned, is myself and Ms. Doha. I haven't, and she has not, been given the opportunity to say two words. I've been interrogated. Of course, I wanted that over with last night, That did not happen. So at this time, we can either do one or two things. We can either go forward with whatever we come to an agreement on as far as who the administrators are, or we can go to option B, is not have it at this time. So that's all we're going to do. There's no point in keep going on about it.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but you did go on for quite a bit there.
About 3 minutes to be exact. Okay, calm down.
3 minutes, for sure.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not trying to knock you.
Well, it does come across that way.
With that being said,
No, Ibrahim.
No,
I'm
hold on.
sorry.
Hold on.
I have to just now, Ibrahim. I do have to step in.
With that being said, I'm only asking a very simple question, and that simple question, but that wasn't answered yet, is simply why you, from your opinion, from your perspective, why you? Why do you feel the necessity to be even a co-administrator, let alone the administrator? Why you? From your own words, your own perspective, your own perception. That's the only thing I'm asking.
Alhamdulillah. Let me answer that. It's okay. It's fair and square. Yeah, well, I'm gonna answer. Well, I'm not gonna be able to answer because those are his words. On this call so far, I have never ever mentioned that I should be co-administrator. You want to talk to Tristan about that? Putting words in other people's mouths is a crime. Sorry. Go ahead, Leo. Thank you.
Mr. Fatah, I'm just going to suggest that, and I'm sorry, Ibrahim, I don't mean disrespect to you, but I think you need to retire with your members of your side of the family, and make that decision and come back here. I don't think, and that's what I think we need to do. And I hope we can get that done in the next couple of days.
No disrespect taken. No disrespect taken, but it's the clarity is key here, and that's the whole point of this conversation. We have all parties involved and the representatives of such parties, right? Of at least some of the members.
Why don't you call it?
So the only thing I wanted to ask is, because the reason why I'm asking this now in this particular forum is because when I ask these questions directly, the communication breakdown negates any sort of clear answer. And I mean, I've asked this question 3 times in 2 different ways on this call, and I'm not getting a direct answer. You keep deferring to what the attorneys have suggested, et cetera. And I get it. I'm only asking. I'm just trying to get an understanding from your perspective why you want to be or need to be an administrator.
I agree with. Excuse me. Right. No, I understand. I'm going to agree with my attorney. I'm going to agree with my attorney, and I'm going to restate. I'm going to agree with my attorney. I think you should retire, and I should also retire and talk to our side of the family at this time. It's just simple, bro. Still love you. Listen, it's a long call. It's gone over 45 minutes, bro.
At this point, I'm actually Mr. Fatah's attorney, and I'm just going to sort of say I don't think he really should be, answering the questions at this point, on this call. I just don't think he should, and I think that what he needs to do is go back. He's agreed to speak with the grandmother, and they will come back. If Ibrahim, if whatever they decide is something that you can't live with, then we'll have to talk about that again.
No, we'll litigate it in court. I mean, that's not an issue at all. I understand the process. I understand how this gets escalated. I understand where we're going here. I'm just trying to get answers, and I haven't gotten any answers. The reason why I haven't gotten any answers is because there's a breakdown in communication. Look, gentlemen, you are intelligent individuals, right? There's no way you went through, your level of education went through law school and went through your experiences in the court systems without having at least a basic level of intelligence. You bear witness to me asking simple questions and getting a runaround. I asked them directly, right? So the only reason why I have any concerns at all, right? It's not a matter of sides. It's not a matter of the literal sense of trust. It's not that. It's about being able to ask a simple question, try to obtain simple information, and getting direct, concise answers. That has not happened when I ask those questions.
Very well noted. Very well noted and concerned. Very well noted. If I can make sure. I want to speak to my attorney at this time. Leo, I need to get you on the phone in the next minute or two, okay? I'm going to hang up now. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Finish up by saying, Ibrahim, I heard Mr. Fatah say a number of times that he felt it was his civic duty and he was doing it, because he wanted to, just because he wanted to. I suppose the same question could be asked of anybody. The bottom line is, I think we have a plan that they're going to go back. Mr. Isa's mother's side of the family is going to go back. They'll talk. I would say that Mr. Fatah mentioned cousins. Certainly anybody can be involved in the decision as to who Isa's mother's side of the family would like to put up as co-administrator, but it's really his brothers and sisters, his grandmothers that have the ultimate kind of voting power and decision here. So I think we've exhausted this. I think we've heard everybody said what they wanted to say. At this point, we just should wait and hear what Isa's mother's side of the family comes forward with. Okay?
Fair enough. Yeah, I've definitely expressed my point. So let's take it to that level.
Thanks, guys, for your time.
Bye, all. Bye.
All right, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a lovely afternoon. Okay, everyone have a nice afternoon. We'll be back in touch. We're gonna move.
ñoo bon ñii tubaab bi imaamu munafiqin yi fu nekk la ñu nekk. They everywhere. I have good tubaab. I have good tubaab, and they're part of the legal team. And these tubaabs, they're saying, yes, let's move forward, let's get things done. But these imam munafiqin kazibin al-zalimin who are looking for this world, you can understand them by when they're talking, they cannot mention Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a way of worship even. They cannot even refer to the akhirah as being the reason for doing something. This is wrong. Astaghfirullah. Sallallahu ala Muhammad. And they will